Welcome, everyone, to the Rocket Classic 2025 at the Detroit Golf Club. Welcome, everyone. This is Tea Time. I am your host, Andy Lang, being joined, as always, by my fellow golf betting expert, Nick Borrman. We're going to break down the course. We're going to give you some long shots. We're going to give you some favorites. We're going to give you some players that will trip you up. And, of course, we'll do some DraftKings Darlings. But, as always, we got to get started with our one and done. Nick, complete heartbreak for me last week in the one and done. I picked Victor Hovland. He's doing great. I'm looking for a really nice payday, and he swings the club on the first hole on Sunday, and his neck hurts, and then he withdraws, and somehow I go from a nice week to complete zero. So you took over the lead on me. Let's see if you can extend it. Who are you going with for this week's one and done?
Yeah, that was a rough way for you to end. I'm sorry I had to text you on Sunday and piss you right off. This week, I hate to go for the guy that just won, but the captain is hot. It's Keegan. The other guy I was looking at was Harry Hall. He's playing very, very well also. But on the top of this list, there's the top 10 guys. This is kind of who I'm on right now. And normally, like I said, I would avoid it, but I was impressed by everybody that played the U.S. Open and then was able to kind of show up last week and still play pretty well. Even J.J. Spawn came back, with that decent round on Sunday to finish up there in the top 15 or whatever it was. So I don't think there's going to be any letdown necessary for Keegan here. Maybe a little bit. I don't think he's going to win again, but one and done. I think he can get another top 10, top 20 for sure finish in this type of a field. He's definitely up there. And I don't see another time I'm going to use Keegan at this point unless it was in the playoffs, but I'm not seeing it. So Keegan makes sense for me in my next order. Harry Hall was the other guy I was looking at, but I love the fight the captain's showing right now. So let's go Keeks.
Harry Hall on DraftKings is matched up against Hideki Matsuyama. Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, I was down between Harry Hall and Ben Griffin. I'm going to use my Ben Griffin start. You could argue one of the top 5 golfers on tour right now, 14th, 10th, 2nd, 1st, 8th. I mean, that's Schauffele, Scheffler, Rory types of finishes. So 33rd and 31st the last 2 years, but this is a different Ben Griffin. He's playing fantastic. So I actually think he should be the betting favorite. We'll get to why I do not understand this Colin Morikawa being the betting favorite. I think Ben Griffin should be the betting favorite. I don't think anybody in the field is playing better than him right now. So, all right, that's your one and done. We got Ben Griffin and Keegan Bradley. Nick, let's talk about this Detroit Golf Club. We laugh about it every year. There will be at least one time where police sirens will be in the background, maybe a fire truck. So it's par 72, 7,370 yards. I actually weirdly like this course. There's something about it. It's got a little different charm to it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a birdie fest, but they do have some tough greens. The greens are small, so your iron play has to be dialed in. I feel like this is the course where there's more drops because of stands than any other course. It just feels like every hole there's potential stands where guys are hitting it over, around, near. I mean, it's a course where you do it on purpose, where you fire it into the stands so you get a free drop. So we'll get to 18th hole. The winning score is probably going to be 18 to 26, I'm guessing. There's some really easy par 5s. There's one really long par 5. The big thing, potential for rain on Thursday and Friday, and it is thunderstorm. So there potentially could be some weather delay. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that and kind of hold off on some of the tee times. You're going to be if you're doing head-to-heads, I would be looking at guys that play in the same tee time. So you don't get a random tee time that's way worse than the other. So what's your take on Detroit Golf Club here?
I love your score prediction. So Andy said, I think the winner is going to be between 18 and 26 under par. 6 years of this event, the lowest the winner has finished is 26 under par, and the highest they finished is 18 under par. That's a good range to pick in, Andy. Well done. What's weird is 4 of the 6 years, it's been at least 23 under. The only 2 times it's been under 18 or under 20, it both finished on 18 under. Cam Davis won both.
Interesting.
Weird. Very weird. I don't, whatever. I mean, I guess just what makes the difference one year to the next is a little thunderstorm action coming through and get the guys out of their funk or out of their groove a little bit. I don't know, but you're right. It's going to play easy. There's not a lot of penalty off the tee. You can hit it far here and not have to worry about you know, chopping out of rough or anything like that. I mean, the rough is supposed to be a little up, 3.5, 4 inches, but it's not thick. It's not like what you saw at Oakmont. The guys can get out of that even though it's long, and I think that's why you see these scores that way. There's no real penalty for missing unless you're like behind a tree. But like you said, you don't have to miss too far, and the grandstand's coming to play anyway. Full field though, 156. This is the stretch run of this season, right? So the next 6 events are all 156-man fields, full cuts, top 65. This is everybody trying to play their way into the playoffs. I don't have a whole lot more. It is a stock par 72, so 4 par 5s out there, 7,400 yards. Greens are slightly smaller than average, 5,000 square feet. Doesn't really seem to affect scoring clearly. So this is going to be who's going to be the hottest with their putter, who's going to hit the closest approach. I don't think driver is going to really matter at all. So pick a good putter. I don't think approach around the greens is going to be all that important. I mean, if you're missing these greens and trying to get up and down, you're already losing stroke. So it's not like getting up and down and making par is something that's going to be crucial. So I'm just going to circle on guys that are putting really, really well and guys that are decent enough with their irons to give themselves chances. I'm going to pretty much ignore off the tee and around the green this week as far as data that I look at. One thing I wanted to add here doesn't really have to do with the course, but I did a deep dive in, and maybe this will branch into the top 10 strokes gained that we like to talk about. But if you look at the winners this season, so we've had 25 events, Andy, ignoring the 3 alternate events. And the winner has been ranked in the top 25 strokes gained in either the previous 12 months, 6 months, or 3 months. 24 of the 25 times this year. Only 1 time has that not happened. So even though we show the top 10 strokes gained, and that's your elite group, the winners are still not coming from far behind that group. Maybe it's the 12-month range you're looking at. Maybe it's the 6-month range you're looking at. Or maybe it's the 3-month range you're looking at. But if you don't have somebody in that bucket and you're looking at a long shot, history's going to tell you there's just no form that person's probably going to win. They might have a good week, but they're not going to win. I thought that was very interesting and worth noting going into this 6-week stretch, because it's going to be a lot of long shots you're looking at, or guys that are going to be longer odds or not have, 15 straight top 20 finishes. That's not going to be the case with these type of fields. So I just wanted to throw that out there. You can deep dive a little bit, but there is still a limit to picking winners on the PGA Tour. You can't have no form at all and win on this tour.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the favorite hole real quick, and then we'll do the 313 and then the 18th hole, and we'll get into total strokes gained. My favorite hole is this random. It's the 4th hole. It's a par 5. It's 635 yards out of nowhere on this easy course. Let's just throw a mile long hole. I also love, we get a gigantic net on the right side. They have the hole next to it netted off, so you're playing on a public course because they have so many bad golfers on in the public that they need to put up big nets. So you get an obstacle. Who doesn't love a random obstacle in a hole? There's net and trees on the right and bunkers on the left side of the fairway. It's just going to take an insanely long drive to even get a chance to go for it in 2. And with the rain that they're getting, I just don't see roll coming. You're going to have very receptive greens this week, but you're not going to get much roll on the fairway. So the green has bunkers short and left, so the layup's going to be off to the right side. And then you got to get an up and down for potential birdie. So this is one hole where getting up and down is going to be crucial. You're going to have to birdie these par 5s. So the 313 it starts with the 14th hole. It's a 550-yard par 5. If you get an eagle on that one, that's, of course, a 3. The next one is the 15th hole, par 3, 160 yards. If you get a hole in 1, that's obviously 1. And then the 16th hole is a par 4, 446. That would be a 3. If anyone can get a 313, that's the area code up there. Player wins a bunch of money for charity. So that's kind of the party holes. Yes.
I'm very curious to know, all right, somebody's obviously eagled the first hole in that stretch,
yes.
Right? Has anybody gotten past the second hurdle?
No. It's a hole in 1.
There's no way. Right? You're not even giving yourself a chance in the third hole. Never got to the second hole.
They try and put the pin in some really easy locations, where the ball kind of funnels in there, but it still hasn't happened. So the 18th hole is a par 4, 455 yards. I'm going to shock everybody. I got this rated to 7.1. This is a really solid finishing hole. The tee shot's kind of difficult. There's bunkers and stands and tall grass. that are on the right, and the left is absolutely no good with trees and rough and a bad angle. And this green is not that easy to putt on. We've seen some drama on this hole for the finish. This is going to be a hole where you're going to get a bunch of drops where if you spray the ball right, there's stands there, and you're going to be able to argue that your horrific tee shot should get a free drop where you can drop it from your knee and get a perfect lie because that's where the crowd stands as well. So the rough isn't even that long. It happens all the time on this hole. I love it though. It's got some personality to it. You're going to see some weirdness, and this is a hole that can determine who wins or loses this one. So 18th hole, I got this rated a 7.1. Sneaky good finishing hole here at Detroit Golf Club. All right, hit the like button, guys. It really helps us out. And leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us who you like this week. There's a lot of guys that you could make cases for that are going to win or play good this week. So let us know what you're feeling down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Over 205,000 subscribers. Join the family. You get notified when all of our shows go live and when our shows get posted, including this episode right here. And we'll be back for the rest of the golf season. So make sure you subscribe to that button, get notified when all the shows go live. All right, Nick, let's take a look at total strokes gained. These are the fun ones where it's not the biggest names in the sport. You're going to have some different guys. So let's take a look at total strokes gained 12, 6, in 3 months. What are the takeaways here? Alex Noren, are you serious? Alex Noren makes an appearance? Oh, my gosh.
The takeaways are the top 3 guys on this in the 12 months are all you can't bet any of those guys. Morikawa, Cantley, Matsuyama, all on the no-bet list.
Yes.
So forget them, right? Keegan, Harry Hall, those are you guys you're going to be targeting. Luke Clanton is interesting because he's been playing well as an amateur. He just kind of got on officially as a professional, but he's looking for that really good start now as a professional. Cam Young, at the bottom of this list, I think that who you're going to probably target in this type of an event right now is more the 6 or 3 month guy, the guy that's playing well in the shorter span. If you look at the columns here, obviously this is sorted by the 12 months. This is your top 12 strokes gained over the last 12 months. And most of these guys at the top, I would argue, have done more damage in the older time of that 12-month span, right? But if you look at the 3 month category, you see Keegan and Ben Griffin, who we both talked about already, highlighted there. There's nobody else missing. Those are the top 2 guys in the shortest span here we're looking at. And the next on the list is Cantley at 1.4, and it drops off pretty significantly from there. So those guys are head and shoulders above anybody else as far as form right now and consistency. Doesn't mean necessarily going to win, but those odds at 18 or 22, as you can see, make a little bit more sense than I would argue with Morikawa at 12 or Cantley at 16. Those guys haven't won in years. Like, what are we doing? Ben Griffin and Bradley have both won just the last 3 months. I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that's my takeaway. I think it's a little bit like, I get the odds makers. You have to do it. You got some big names there, official golf world rankings are ranked up there high, whatever. Form, and for us, any night job to find value on guys, that makes no sense to me that they're where they are. But I digress. That's just my takeaway from there. I would look towards guys at the bottom of this list, or start to, if you have access to the strokes gained filter for the 6 month or 3 months. And like I mentioned before, you can drop down to that the next tier, which is that top 20 in the last 6 months and 3 months. I'm pretty confident because, again, 24 of the 25 tournaments this year, the winner has been there. Even in these smaller field events, not smaller field, but weaker field events, you can't just be out of complete form. So I do believe the bottom of this list is the better of this list, and I would love for you to deep dive into that 10 to 20 ranking this week as well, and really pick a guys, because that's where you're going to get the guys in the 40 to 60 to 1 range, and I think that's going to have a decent amount of value in a tournament like this.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. It's a perfect segue to go right into players that can trip you up. So let's do that. And I mean,
I wonder who it's going to be. Is it going to be those guys?
Yeah, the gigantic red light is Colin Morikawa as the betting favorite.
Yep.
Listen, he hasn't posted a single win or a runner-up since March. He hasn't even come close. His putting has completely fallen apart. He's minus 0.65 in the last 30 days putting. It's just stunningly bad, absolutely stunningly bad. You cannot go low on a course when you're putting is that bad. And I've watched him putt, and some of these putts are not even close. So this is just it's a name value only. There may not be a better example of name value only than Kyle Morikawa being ranked as rated as the number one player this week on the sports book. So there's no way I'm betting on him. I'm dying to get a great head-to-head matchup against him. In fact, they have Cantlay. I would absolutely take Cantlay over Morikawa right now. So
Yeah.
Cantlay's not been amazing, but he's been much better than Morikawa. So yeah, Colin Morikawa, the easy one. Don't be betting on Colin Morikawa this week, not at this price. Also going to go to Minwoo Lee. He's probably going to draw some attention. Runner-up finish here last year, but don't let that result fool you. His current form is not real competitive. He won the Houston Open. He hasn't finished better than 49th in 7 starts since then. So over the last 30 days, he's losing minus 0.57 strokes gained overall. 3-month stretch, he's barely above water at plus 0.22. It's just a clear case of, I think people are going to remember his second place finish and go, oh, he plays good here. He's in terrible form and does not belong on bet slips this week. And then we'll go to Hideki Matsuyama. Again, just getting way too much respect in the betting markets. He hasn't cracked the top 30 in any of his last 4 starts. He missed the cut the last time he played this course. That, if I remember that correctly, I believe there were a bunch of live rumors that week, and he just came out and was just hacking away and didn't really care at much. So I wouldn't put too much into that. But just looking at his recent form makes this a really, really tough sell. Over the last 30 days, he ranks outside the top 25 in total strokes gained just in this field. That's not even with elite fields. He's behind names like Lee Hodges and Brant Snedeker. That's a real thing. That is not the kind of list you want to be on. That's not the profile you want for someone that's priced as a top 7 option. So he's a hard pass for me. So Colin Morikawa, Minwoo Lee, and Hideki Matsuyama, those are 3 guys that I think can trip you up. All right, let's go to a favorite here. But real quick, guys, we have a lot of specials that we are running over at WagerTalk. Invite everyone to go over to the WagerTalk page to see some of these deals. One in particular, the promo code is new29. New29. That gets you 3 days of plays marked down to $29. And the best thing about that is you can pick one handicapper or you can use it as flex option. So if you buy it and you want to pick me for Thursday, then you want to pick Nick for Friday, then you want to pick someone else for Saturday, you can do that. Or if you just want to stick with one person, you can do that as well. But the promo code is new29. That gets you 3 days for $29, and that's normally $69. So that is a really, really smoking deal. We also have the 4th of July blowout special, 7 days marked down for $69. So if you want 3 days, you can use a promo code new29, or if you just want 7 days for $69, we do this special every year around 4th of July. So you can use that as flex option as well. You can pick one handicapper, or you can use a different handicapper each day. So try and give you guys as much flexibility as possible here. So Nick, tell everyone what you have up at the website, and let's talk about your favorite.
Yeah, right now we have MLS action. This is Wednesday. There's 5% MLS play going tonight, along with 2 other plays. So big step out spot for me in the MLS this evening. And then, of course, we have a couple summer soccer tournaments going on, the Club World Cup. And if you're in the United States, you actually can attend these games, which is pretty cool. We never get to see a lot of these European teams over in the States. So it's a good opportunity for that. And, of course, the Gold Cup with USA, Mexico as the favorites in that competition. It's a couple smaller nations in there, too. But obviously now we're to the knockout round, so you're getting to some of the better games. So I have plays up for those daily. And this week's golf pack is available on my page right now as well.
All right, favorite. You know I'm a fan of this one. Who'd you peg this week?
Yeah, it's Griffin. I mean, talk about a segue to a segue to a segue. You're talking about Morikawa at 14-1. And listen, Andy's job is to find guys that you don't bet on based on value. It doesn't mean Morikawa's going to miss the cut this week, but at 14-1, 12-1, whatever it was to win versus Ben Griffin, who is way better form, red hot, 2 recent wins. I mean, one was a partner event, but still, he hasn't finished outside the top 15 in his last 5 starts. He's 22-1. I mean, please, his top 20 is plus 120. Colin Morikawa's is minus 140. Why would you lay minus 140 on a guy that's not in as good form as Ben Griffin at plus 120? Just take the plus price. It makes no sense. So, yeah, Ben Griffin is my favorite of the bucket of 5 to top 10 guys, he just makes the most sense. You could argue Keegan, I said, but coming off the win, I'll pivot back to Ben since I'm using Keegan for one and done. But Keegan and Griffin rank 1 and 2, total strokes gained over the last 3 months by a wide margin. The value in mind, Griffin has 5 top 15 finishes coming into an event, tied for 10 at the U.S. Open, tied for 14th last week at the Travelers. He's been gaining strokes across all facets of the game. There's no weakness right now. His putter, insane. He's gained over 21 total strokes putting in those 5 events, and his approach is not far behind, over 19 in those 5 events, total strokes under punch. You put those two combined, that's 40 strokes over the field average in 20 rounds. That's 2 strokes a round is what he's gaining in those two. When you add that up over 4 days, that's 8 strokes, right? So if he just continues his current form, he's going to start 8 strokes above the average field. That's top 20. It's that simple, right? Obviously, he might have a bad week, but without an indicator that it's going to happen, ride the hot hands. He's got 2 starts here, a 31st and a 32nd in the last 2 years. Whatever, I don't even care what his results would have been, but those are pretty solid results for a guy that, is clearly a different player now than he was at any point previously. So if nothing else, it's just comfortability around the golf course and on the greens that only adds to the allure around him and me liking him this week. So 22-1 Ben Griffin, top 10 plus 250 is very solid. And like I said, top 20 plus 120, I love it. I mean, that's just a standard. You should bet it and don't even think about it. I love Ben this week.
Yeah. I'm with you. That plus money at top 20, that is a mighty juicy number. I love that.
Yeah.
One. So, all right, let's move on to DraftKings Darlings. I finished 51st out of 100 people last week. Finau blew up on Sunday, and it turns out he hurt his back. So he was.
Come on, Tony.
Yeah.
Why was there so many withdrawals? There were so many withdrawals last week, and I didn't even hear about it.
Because they were beat up from the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, they really were.
I mean, right off the bat, Spieth and Siwoo Kim were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, just you see what Straka and Lowry shot the first couple days?
Yeah.
Awful. They're awful. So, yeah, some guys just really, really, really struggled. We should have faded Lowry in the first couple days. He was in such a bad mood coming off of Oakmont. He was destined to have a bad one. Yeah. So, I've got a cricket play that is up if you're watching this on Wednesday. Cricket has been humming. 4 winners in a row, going for number 5 tonight. And cricket is one of these sports that just secretly, this is how you build bankrolls. Our cricket department is doing fantastic. 23-9 run in cricket, number 1 lifetime over there at WagerTalk. So you want to grab that. And also we've got a 5% PFL best bet that is up, still maintaining that number 1 spot for units at WagerTalk, and coming off of a 3-2 week in MMA over the weekend, and PFL 5%. We're stepping out for a big one as well. That event is on Friday, so encourage everyone to grab that. And that's going to include all plays that we have for PFL. All right, let's do DraftKings Darlings here. See if we can get back on the winning ways here. You got to dig deep for these guys when you have these excuse me, these weaker fields, but we can do it. Let's go with Adam Hadwin at 6,800. This is not a flashy play by any stretch, but it's in a weak field. You're looking for these steady guys. He's made the cut in 6 of his last 7 starts. He finished runner-up here in 2023, did not play here last year. So he shows he can navigate this course. Stats, not great on him, but consistency matters. So all I need is weekend points from him. If you're looking for value, I think you could do a lot worse. Hadwin, solid kind of low-risk opportunity at 6,800. Hayden Springer, here's another one. Don't look at his stats, but he's been quietly reliable. 9 made cuts in 11 starts. Course, he's comfortable here. He finished 10th here last year. So when you're trying to find these DraftKings Darlings, you're looking for any good sign. So he's been making cuts, doesn't have a ton of upside, but if you want to focus on that 10th place finish last year, you can make the case he's got a little bit upside. And then our good buddy Kevin Roy, he just keeps making the cut. 7,000. What a gem he's been recently. Made the cut 6 straight times in a row. And it's strange, he missed the cut like 3 or 4 times in a row, and then he must have fixed something or he got healthy, because He's added an 18th and a 15th place finish, so he is showing some upside. He ranks top 40 in this field in total strokes gained the last 30 days. So for a low price, he's very consistently outperforming expectations and getting us DFS points. So we'll build our lineup starting with Hadwin, Springer, and Roy. If you want the rest of the lineup, you can get it from my free digital download article. That's at wt.buzz/AL. That's the same profile where you can get all of our plays, including the cricket play for today and the 5% PFL play that is up. So it's got all the write-ups for players that can trip you up, course, field, breakdown on all these DraftKings Darlings. So that's a free download, wt.buzz/AL. All right, let's take a look at another long shot. This one came out of left field. I wasn't even looking at him, but I like that you're going to make the case for him. Let's talk about Emiliano Grillo.
So I want to congratulate Hayden Springer for making his first appearance on Tea Time in 4 years of doing this show. So good luck to Hayden Springer this week. I appreciate the deep dive there, Andy. And yeah, I'm going similar with Grillo, I believe is his true Argentinian pronunciation, but I'll say Grillo because we're here and we only know how to pronounce it in the English way. But 4 straight.
I'm going to jump in here. I asked his caddy. I was there. I asked his caddy, and his caddy said either way is fine.
Either way.
So that's what his caddy said. Maybe he was messing with me. We used to call him Grillo the Pillow because he, back in his heyday, he was like so consistent. He was like a comfortable pillow. You just put him in your lineup, and he made the cut every single week. So we just called him Grillo the Pillow. He's like a cool pillow. So, but I asked his caddy. His caddy said Grillo or Grillo is fine.
Perfect. And we are right in both regards. And I'm going to give my case for the Pillow right now. He's coming in on 4 straight top 25 finishes, and they tied for 19th. At the U.S. Open. His irons have been very, very good, gaining over 25 strokes on approach total in just those 4 starts. He's given some back on and around the greens, but even with that, his irons have been so good, it's led him to those 4 straight steady, nice paydays. On the season, though, his putter and around the green have both been pretty solid. He ranks 47th in strokes gained putting. He never gets into too much trouble off the tee. He's 20th in driving accuracy. Those extra fairways will obviously have a positive impact on his greens hit and his proximity, where he ranks 33rd this season. So these are respectable numbers for a guy that's priced, in the 40 to 50 kind of favorite range. 2 starts here, a miscut and a tie for 39th, but those came back from 2021 was his last time he played here, so I don't really put anything on there, but I just thought I'd mention that's his results here. He's rested. He didn't play last week, so I love that about him versus the top of this field that are coming in off 3 straight events, at least with the U.S. Open too, so I think that's a nice advantage for these guys that did not play the signature event last week, is a little bit extra rest. So 80-1 on a guy that's got 4 straight top 25 finishes. Top 10 is 6-1 plus 600, and the top 20 is plus 275. I mean, I love either of those. Will he pull through and win? I don't know. You're asking a lot, obviously, but the other 2, top 10 and top 20, just to keep that current form going, I think are great prices. So his irons alone, I think we'll put him on that second page and nothing else. And I'm just hoping his couple starts here, he reflects back on that. He remembers the course as he gets around, and maybe that just gives him a little bit of comfortability back on the greens. But again, his putter and his around the greens haven't been great the last couple of weeks, but on the season as a whole, they've been pretty solid, average. So I don't expect it to continue to be on a downward trend. So I like Grillo or Grillo, whichever way you want to say it, to have a good week again this week.
It literally is just now occurring to me that he might have been messing with me.
Go ahead. Go.
This is like 8 or 9 years ago. It is just now occurring to me what he was messing with me. I'll tell this dumb American, Grillo's fine. So, oh, that's funny. And now I got to go to another. Now I got to go up to Detroit. Nick, I got to leave now. I got to go up to Detroit and ask his caddy, hey, were you kidding with me? Remember me? So, oh, that's great. That's great. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Make sure you hit the like button, leave us a comment. Tell us who you like this week. A lot of interesting names that you can make cases for. So put it in the comments section who you like. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and take advantage of those specials that we have up at WagerTalk. I mean, you get Nick's 5% play for. You get 3 days of Nick for less than the price of the 1 5%.
Yep.
That's how good that flex special is. So use the promo code on that, and you can also get 7 days marked down to $69. So good luck on your 5% best bet, Nick. Good luck to both of us. We both got 5% this week, so hopefully we come back next week with a couple big winners. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good luck on all your bets, and take care.